The narrow brick alley in Portland's Pearl District smelled of wet stone and distant coffee roasters. A single overhead bulb flickered, throwing gold onto the two women pressed against the wall, one in a black leather jacket, the other in a soft cream sweater. Their foreheads almost touched, breaths visible in the chill. Then lips met, slow, deliberate, the kind of kiss that silences sirens and heartbeats alike. But that moment was the ending of a night that began hours earlier, when neither knew the other existed. Riley had come to the city to disappear. She'd left a tech startup job in San Francisco that paid for everything except sleep. Her apartment lease was ending, her savings dwindling, and the last woman she loved had ghosted after borrowing money she never repaid. So Riley bought a one-way Amtrak ticket north, stuffed a duffel with sketch pads and charcoal, and told herself Portland would be a reset. She wandered into a tiny indie bookstore cafe on Northwest 23rd, rain dripping from her hood, ordered a black coffee, and took the last table by the window. Across the room, Jordan nursed chamomile tea and stared at a laptop screen full of redlined edits. She was a freelance editor for small presses, the kind of work that let her travel light but never quite settle. Her girlfriend of 3 years had ended things 6 weeks earlier with a text, "I need space to figure out who I am without us." Jordan had replied with a thumbs-up emoji and then booked the cheapest Airbnb in Portland to outrun the silence. She noticed Riley immediately, dark hair falling over sharp cheekbones, fingers smudging charcoal across a page with furious grace. Riley felt the stare. She looked up, met hazel eyes framed by loose auburn waves, and forgot the line she was drawing. Jordan closed her laptop, walked over, and slid into the opposite chair without asking. "You're destroying that paper," Jordan said, nodding at the sketch. "In a good way." Riley's laugh was rusty. "It's supposed to be the Burnside Bridge. Looks more like a bad breakup." Jordan smiled, small and real. "I know those." They talked until the barista flipped the sign to closed. Riley admitted she had nowhere to stay yet. Jordan offered the couch in her Airbnb, a fifth-floor walk-up with a view of the Willamette. Riley hesitated, stranger danger, pride, fear. But the rain outside was turning to sleet, and Jordan's eyes held no agenda, only curiosity. The apartment was cramped, warm, smelling of old books and cinnamon. They shared a bottle of cheap red wine on the floor because the couch was buried under manuscripts. Jordan read aloud from a poetry submission. Riley sketched her mid-sentence, laugh lines, the way her hair caught the lamp's glow. When Jordan saw the drawing, she went quiet. "Nobody's ever seen me like that," she whispered. Riley set the pad aside. "I just drew what I saw." The air thickened. Outside, a streetcar clanged. Jordan reached out, fingertips brushing Riley's wrist where charcoal still stained the skin. Riley's pulse jumped. She thought of every reason to pull away. Tomorrow she'd keep moving. Jordan would fly home to Denver. Love was a liability. But Jordan leaned in, slow enough for refusal, and Riley met her halfway. Their first kiss tasted of wine and hesitation. It was gentle, exploratory, then deeper when Riley's hand found the nape of Jordan's neck. They broke part only when the wine bottle rolled off the rug and clattered. "I don't do this," Riley said, breathless. "Pick up strangers. Stay." "Me neither," Jordan answered. "But I'm tired of leaving before I arrive." They didn't sleep together that night, not like that. Instead, they talked until the sky turned dishwater gray. Riley confessed the startup burnout, the ex who drained her accounts. Jordan admitted she edited manuscripts to avoid writing her own stories. Dawn found them wrapped in the same blanket on the fire escape, watching barges slide beneath the bridge Riley had failed to draw. Morning brought complications. Jordan's phone buzzed with a recall from her ex, voice trembling, asking for another chance. Riley's inbox held a job offer back in San Francisco, the kind that could rebuild her life, but felt like a cage. They dressed in silence, the magic of the night suddenly fragile. At the cafe downstairs, over burnt toast and weak coffee, Jordan spoke first. "I'm not asking you to stay, but I'm also not ready to say goodbye." Riley traced the rim of her mug. "I came here to run away. You make me want to run toward something." They left the cafe into a drizzle that hadn't let up. Riley needed art supplies. Jordan needed to mail manuscripts. They walked without destination, boots splashing through puddles, tension coiling. At a crosswalk, Jordan stopped. "My ex is flying in tomorrow. Says she'll wait at the airport until I talk." Riley's stomach dropped. "And the job wants an answer by end of week." They stared at each other, the city loud around them. Then Riley grabbed Jordan's hand and pulled her into the alley behind the bookstore, the same brick corridor that would later frame their photograph. Rain streaked down the walls. Riley backed Jordan against the bricks, not rough, just urgent. "I don't know what tomorrow looks like," Riley said, voice raw. "But right now, this is the truest thing I've felt in years." Jordan's answer was a kiss, fiercer than the night before, hands fisting Riley's leather jacket, bodies aligning like they'd done this 1,000 times. The world narrowed to the scrape of brick, the warmth of mouths, the shared exhale when they finally parted. They spent the day defying logic. Riley turned down the job with a single email. Jordan blocked her ex's number. They bought a disposable camera at a corner drugstore and took turns photographing each other, Jordan laughing in Powell's books, Riley asleep on a Max train, their reflections overlapping in a puddle. When the film was developed days later, the alley kiss would be the clearest shot, two women claiming a moment the universe tried to rush past them. Weeks blurred into months. Riley found freelance illustration gigs with local magazines. Jordan rented a tiny studio where they painted the walls mustard yellow and hung string lights. They fought, over whose turn it was to buy groceries, over Riley's habit of disappearing into sketches for hours, over Jordan's fear that love always expired. Each argument ended with one of them reaching across the bed, fingers interlacing, remembering the alley. One spring evening, walking home from a farmer's market with arms full of rhubarb and peonies, Jordan stopped beneath the same flickering bulb. "I never thanked you," she said. "For what?" "For not letting me become another story I edited out of my life." Riley set the bags down, cupped Jordan's face, and kissed her, slow, deliberate, the echo of that first brick wall surrender. A passing cyclist whistled. They didn't care. Years later, the photograph from the disposable camera hung above their fireplace. Two women, foreheads touching, eyes closed, the alley blurring behind them. Beneath it, in Riley's charcoal script, "We stayed." And they did, through leaked roofs and layoff scares, through Jordan's first published novel and Riley's gallery show, through every ordinary, extraordinary day that began with a kiss against brick and refused to end any other way.